2 years ago, I discovered a newsletter called Really Good Emails. And really good emails, right? It's kind of, really good emails, come on, right? And then I looked at it and I was like, damn, they have really good emails. And it turns out it's these guys who just collect the best emails out there constantly. They share them with the world, they work in design, they work in agencies, they work remotely with each other, and they curate a beautiful product every week, is it? Every other week. It's a newsletter that's not salesy, it's just honest, it's great, and I'm so happy that the person who sits down, curates the stuff together, thinks about design and email all day, and is the co-founder of Really Good Emails, is here with us today to guide you through, and I'm not kidding, the best 10 emails for the next 100 years. Give it up for Matt Helbig.
I'm not sure if I should stand or sit. I'm not sure. Okay, I'll sit down, because we're all going to be looking at all the slides, so I'm not going to be that exciting to look at. So yeah, actually, the next 1,000 years, I'm planning really far ahead. So I'm Matt Helbig. I run a little website called Really Good Emails. All the slides and stuff like that are at reallygoodemails.com/awesome. There's some resources there as well. So we kind of started this little side project in 2014. So we're just a bunch of guys all kind of working on the side. So full-time, I work at an agency called Digitas, doing a lot of email marketing for them. On the nights and weekends, or really late nights and things like that, I work on Really Good Emails. So we're basically a collection of well-designed emails, and we just kind of want to have a conversation around good email design, good email marketing, best practices, things like that. A lot of people start out and are unsure, how to send good-looking emails. So we're all across the country. We all just kind of do this in our free time. So what makes a really good email? Because we're the judges, but what do we know? I don't know. So pretty much we have these individual little rules every time that we look at an email when we add it to our site. So we really try to focus on to make sure that the visual design makes sense. One of our main mottos is that email serves the customer more than the company, so you're really putting the customer first. Brand consistency, best-in-class technology, everything else, making sure that it's not all images, it's accessible. We're in 2018, so we don't want to look at all image emails anymore. And I think a new tenet that we've kind of added is that verticals shouldn't compare to other verticals. Just because you're sending B2B doesn't mean your emails have to look crappy. You can send good-looking emails as well. So yeah, these are individual points that we kind of look at. We kind of just go down this list. This is kind of like the list that we actually look at too before we hit send on our own newsletter to make sure that everything makes sense. And just some things to think about before hitting send. Ways that you can innovate in the inbox. It's always fun. And we treat the inbox as very, very. We try to the newsletters we send make it fun and cool. We don't want to be boring in the inbox, but for the brands that we feature, a lot of the times we want to make sure that they are people sending well thought out emails and not really abusing the inbox, because it is really personal. At least I think so. So I'm going to walk through a few brands, 10 different emails that we think are doing email really good this year. So the first brand is Airbnb. So they actually do a lot of different types of emails. They have an onboarding series when you become a new customer, when you host for the first time. So they do a lot of different emails, really focusing on getting people excited about their trip and getting excited about travel. But across all their different emails, they keep it very consistent. They always use really nice imagery, very good typography. Everything kind of makes sense throughout the different emails that they send. I think just in general, they do a very good job of making things consistent. It matches their app, matches their website. They really do just a great job. So we reached out. Lucas is the email marketing manager, and one of the things that he mentioned when we were talking to him about specifically an email that they send right when you sign up is how do you, get that 5 seconds of attention and make someone get into your app or get them to do an action right away. So that welcome series is one of the most important emails that you end up sending. So we like to look at a lot of those and figure out how brands can send emails really early on and start that relationship in the inbox pretty early. So this email is one of my favorite welcome series. It's from Airbnb. It has a really clear goal. It matches their website, really catches your eye. So Lucas actually stayed with this family, and this is a photo from one of his stays, and it's like in the email that he made, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this thing just gets you right into the app, gets you excited, really makes sense what you want to do next with this email. There's nothing like, you're not bombarding someone with all these different things right away. They're just kind of going right into the app, getting excited to plan their trip. So that's what we try to do with email and keep it simple. So I think that is Airbnb. The next brand is Apple. Like, I almost didn't want to put Apple because I feel like it's a brand that everyone always talks about doing things really well, but I think they still send really good emails, and they balance a lot with the technology that they're making, new products, but they also do things like this new Spotlight email, which matches very closely to the news app. So they're kind of making a very consistent thing across all their different emails. So especially with these, like these dark backgrounds, I'm a really big fan of that. It's a really cool looking footer, having those helpful links on the bottom. But really, all these examples just kind of get out of your way and feature the product. And then if you need to look at additional things, you can maybe go to the website and dive deeper into something like that. But just a really good way to showcase a lot of their technology, doing it really well. So this is another welcome email. This one's bringing up, when you sign up you get a new phone or something, just onboarding you on. I think screenshots are a super powerful tool with emails, especially really showing people like what you can do with your product versus just writing exactly all this text out. Having a GIF with a screenshot is really powerful. Doing your own custom icons in email is super great too. Really gets people to understand what you want actions, what you want them to do next. I think this one also has pretty good footer links as well. Just like a really nice email walking you through. Even though this one is really long, I think it makes it it's very digestible and very readable. So when you have a new phone, you can click on these things and all these icons match up to what's on your phone. So it really makes it just very simple. And then having a way for your subscribers or customers to reach out to you if you need help is always like a cool thing to add in at the bottom of your emails. Spotify. Everyone got Spotify. I know today they just put out like their new Spotify Wrapped Up 2018 list, which is always an exciting thing. So I think in 2006 they did that with email as well. Not sure if they did one this year. But Spotify does a really good job of bringing you back into the product, really focusing on artists and the music and all the interesting data that they have about you. So this Spotify email, I think, uses Movable Link as a vendor and pulls in a lot of your stats about what kind of music you play, things like that. But it's a very cool email to get in your inbox and very shareable with your friends. Just some cool emails for them. Yeah, so this is a really cool email from Spotify using that GIF, and really kind of adds value. I think a lot of times on our site we see submissions that come in with GIFs that are just there for fun. They don't really add value a lot. But I think when brands use GIFs successfully, they bring a lot of value or engage you in some way. They're not just extra in there for no reason. And the single CTA, I mean, this is a pretty short email, but it gives you so much information and really gets you to go onto a landing page or something like that. You don't need to always bring in everything into an email. You kind of just want to get the information and move on with your day. You don't have to have so much stuff in there. And keeping it one column, it's just a very simple design. I think when emails try to do too much at once, it just kind of gets too busy. Especially on mobile too. I mean, one column, just design that way, it's always better. Uber, I feel like every time I get a receipt from Uber in my inbox as an email marketer, that's like a really amazing moment, actually. Like, there's so much data that they bring in on their receipts. They have like your total, the map, everything like that. Someone really thought about that and made that experience, good for you. So getting those emails from them and them really having like an understanding of not giving you too much information and understanding like what you want to do with their product. If you're a new driver or you're using their Uber Eats product or you're a rider, each of their emails still really feel consistent across all their different sends and markets. But yeah, this receipt to me is really impressive. As an email marketer, there's a lot of dynamic content and things being pulled in. So maybe the next time, maybe take a you get your receipts. But that's like what we nerd about, in email marketing. So, and this is our CRM lead, really communicating, making it relevant, right time, not too much information. You don't want to overwhelm people. Just making it really clear and simple what you want to do with those things. You can use your app, you can use your website later to maybe follow up and get make your users do other actions, but with email it should just be pretty simple. So this is their year in review email. I know we're coming up again, so there's going to be a lot. But this is just a really cool one where they bring in a lot of different content, customized GIFs. It's just a really fun email to get in the inbox. And this is something too, like this might have taken them a very long time to do, but this is probably one of their most open, most shared emails. That's like one thing that we always think about is, would you forward this to your friend or something like that? Not very often that you get an email and you're like, yes, I want to share this with people. So as a brand, if you can do that, it's a good way to do it. So then having that social share, even though they might not get a lot of clicks, we still think they're pretty cool, and you can put them in an email and at least ask people to share, but make it compelling enough for them to actually share the email like this. Another brand doing email super well is Everlane. They're kind of like a newer brand, but I think they're a San Francisco-based startup doing clothing. So they just do a lot of, even though they're mostly all images as a fashion brand, I think it's always a tricky thing trying to bring in a lot of different content when you are a fashion brand, but they do a really good job of just keeping it clean and consistent, using color a lot in their email marketing, bringing in really clean product shots. Like some of these two are like shot for the email versus just being pulled from the site. So this is just a very simple kind of email, but they do some interesting stuff, just like Z pattern, bringing your eye down the email, really cool CTA design, making it really simple. But this is on the edge case of really good for us because it is sort of one of those all-image emails, and we really took a stand this year, especially to kind of push back on that and making emails as accessible as possible. So we like to see live text, bulletproof buttons that are made with code, not just images sliced. So some cool stuff, and this like fun footer, just like is a different part of the email. Really drives your attention down throughout the email, and at the end there's like a little upsell module, but just a nice email design. And we have Envision, collaboration tool. They do some really cool fun stuff with email. They have some really cool carousels. They do some also like just weird experiments with email and kind of making every send that they do like an experiment. Kind of feels like a fun thing to get in your inbox. So they play a lot with these like full colored emails. I love like the screen to screen, like single color when brands do that. I think it's like a lot of our emails on our site end up looking like that because I really like it when they make an entire email like with the background color. But even like a legalese email over here, like even if it's not that exciting, it's still a good looking email. It's not just plain text. It's matches their brand voice, looks nice. So bringing those little things on those transactional email sends is really cool when brands get to do that. So we did an interview with them, and I thought this quote from Claire was like super great. You just send awesome stuff. If you don't want to get it, if it's not providing value, then why are you sending in this email? So I think it's like one of those things that is really worth talking about or asking yourself every time you hit send. Like, is this providing value? Is this serving the customer? Is it going to be awesome? Why would you want to send crappy stuff to your customers? So this is a really well-designed email. They just redid this design actually. But it's just a pretty simple newsletter, but I think it really stands out because it doesn't look like another template that you might get, like a MailChimp template or something like that. It really does some fun stuff. So there's a very clear hierarchy throughout the email. The CTAs are always really fun. They always kind of like write a little blurb, like the call to action to make you click through. Like TED Talks and Chill, it's pretty fun. So it's better than just like learn more. It's kind of boring, or read more. I don't know. So when brands get to do that stuff, it's pretty cool. And then color is always a fun thing. Break up the section, make it a lot more easier to read. We see a lot of newsletters that are just like all plain text, links, links, links. But when you get to bring in some images and play around with color, it really makes it a lot more exciting to read. And MailChimp, which is cheating because they send emails, so they're going to have good emails. So yeah, even though these are very content-heavy emails, they still bring in some images and color and illustrations to really break up these sections. So even if you are like a B2B company that has a lot of content and you want to share that with your customers, making it fun and engaging to read and kind of keep the attention of your readers, even on a very long email, using images and numbers or bullet points to break things up. Yeah, and this footer is always really good too. They have like hover effects that animate that bottom. So yeah, they send some interesting emails, and they also, with their cadence of emails, they actually don't send that many, so when you do get one, it's really like something you want to open, and they usually always deliver value, so you're excited whenever you get a MailChimp email. So keeping like your subscribers excited to get something is another like goal that we always think about with really good emails. It's making sure that when you send an email, it's good. So this is Fabio. Everyone knows Fabio. He's like an email celebrity if you're in the email marketing game. But yeah, I think his quote about really keeping content, quality content in your emails is really beneficial versus, I mean, pixels don't cost anything to add them most of the time. So keeping email, very simple, easy to read. You don't want to like send everyone everything right away. If they want it, they will find it. This is another, I think this is a refresh recently too. Having that video in there, I know like a lot of people still do video in emails now. That's like something that a lot of brands end up trying to do. I'm sort of on the fence with it. I kind of like pushing someone to a YouTube and they can share and things like that, having that link and getting those views on your video. But even just having a play button, especially in the top half of the email, gets people to click out. It's really an engaging thing. So. And they always do a fantastic job with live text, keeping everything really accessible. And then they always have very cool, fun illustrations. I think one of my favorites is something to do this personalization. They have like a watch, that 3-hand watches to let you know you can send it at different times, and it's just a fun, smart way to bring in the different stuff and really, break up these sections and make it clear, what you can do with the email. We have Asana. It's a very interesting, cool brand. So I think even though they're like more, I guess, business, they do a lot of fun, cool things to bring you back into the email, into their service as well. So these are all the different things you can do with their product. I think they have a unique task because they need to communicate information to a large group of people within your team or something. I think a lot of these emails too have been made to get you back into their product because they know the actions that will make you successful. When you first sign up, there's a series that you get really getting you into their product and making sure that you are adding stuff, and so you'll be a lifetime customer of theirs. Yeah, so pretty much just empowering teams with email, keeping the cadence consistent, making sure that people are getting into your product, and using email as an onboarding tool is really effective. So this is actually an email that you would get if you left Asana. And it's just a really fun way to kind of get people the retention email back into their product. So really fun, cool copy, pretty simple. They're not really upselling you or doing too much crazy stuff. Just, hey, we've made our product faster. Get back into the product. Try it out. It's fun. Google, they have a bunch of different emails that they've been sending across the board. But I'm really a big fan of their product onboarding emails. So something like Google Home Mini, you kind of get all these emails right away, let you know how to use their product. For a device too that doesn't have like a screen, email is a great way to really tell people, hey, this is what you can do with our product. And then their Wi-Fi is really interesting because it brings in a lot of dynamic content as well. Even though this design is really clean, it brings in also information about your network. So those are fun dynamic touches when it comes to email that you can do. I think that's all of them. Yeah, but as you can see too, they keep a very consistent design across all their email, that whole material design card stuff. And then having like, was this email helpful in a lot of their email touch as well. That is always cool to get feedback about your email and asking your customers directly. Yeah, so this is like that onboarding series. Giving people too much stuff right away is overwhelming for a lot of people. Making email easy to use, get people in your product, that's pretty much just the way it goes. Yeah, so this Wi-Fi one is one of my favorites, really. You got first name personalization, bringing in your devices, having these great icons. Really gets you into the product, and it makes you feel like if you need help, you can reach out to their customer support. There's resources. And this report style email is really popular too. It doesn't have to be like the end of year report where you bring all these stats in, but you can sprinkle in data. You should be capturing that data when you can, and serving it up to the customer in like a non-creepy way is always a really fun way to do it. And then we have Nike. So I think we're actually going to have someone from Nike talking later, so I'm not going to talk too bad about them. But they do so much fun, cool stuff with their emails. Being a fashion brand, I think we get a lot of feedback and people asking about, I just have all these images of products. How do I feature them in a well-designed email without just doing it in an all-image email of my new products? But Nike is one of those things that they do a really good job across their different brands. Like if it's Jordan or Nike or their basketball, soccer, all those other sports. But they do a very good job of being consistent across them all, really focusing on the product, focusing like on their community, bring in very cool lifestyle shots, and then sending fun emails like this when it's your birthday. You get a little coupon. So this is an interactive email. So we've been kind of seeing a lot more of those this year. So when you kind of hover over the little plus thing, this thing will pop up and you can shop that particular item. So that definitely did take a little bit more work, but it's a really fun, cool experience on mobile and like on iOS where that's usually supported. Especially if you know your subscribers are all opening on phones, you can start working on emails like this that are more interactive and get people to click on them and get a little bit more information. But yeah, using these bold images, taking the time to really get cool product shots and bring them in really makes email a lot more engaging. And this mobile-first design as well. I think a lot of these emails that I've shown are all one column, very mobile-friendly. So I personally think that we should just be all designing for mobile-first. I mean, I think a lot of people now, their lists are over 70% of people opening emails on mobile. So saving you time on the development side with just laying one thing out for mobile and then just kind of optimizing desktop after the fact to make it look good on both screens. So that's cool, but how do I send really good emails? Well, I think there's some questions that you can ask yourself before you hit send. So on that really good email/awesome link, there are some getting started resources and things like that. But I think these 3 questions are really important to ask before you send your email. So does the content serve the customer more than the company? So we sound like a broken record. We always kind of say that. But it's something that really drives, I think, really good email as a site. But any email that we feature, your email should solve a problem or do a job and really be valuable to the customer. And is email accessible? So we don't like all image emails anymore. It's 2018. We can have live text, make our emails accessible to people that are hearing impaired or sight impaired. It's something you should be thinking about. And accessible to me also means that it's responsive. So you can use it on a phone, you can use it on a desktop. It doesn't matter where your emails are open, they should always look great. And would you look forward to getting these emails? Is something, as a brand, I don't think a lot of people print out all your emails. I print out some emails, but I put them on my fridge. But yeah, is this something you'd share with your friends? That's a cool thing. Why does email have to suck all the time? So yeah, just coming back to these tenets. So these are the lists that we go through every single time. I think this is a good list to look at and maybe think about with your emails. Could you try out some of these things? Even if it's convincing your boss just to do an A/B test on a subject line or play around with some CTA colors or something. I think these are all fun things to do. I think every email that you send is an opportunity to test something new and learn something from it. It doesn't have to just be a sale or letting your customers know. So that's kind of all I have. And I hope emails. That's it. Thank you. Can you stay up here?
Yes.
Okay.
The one and only question that came in through the app, what do you think that was? Is there any way to get a copy of your slides?
Well, surprisingly, reallygoodemails.com/awesome is where you can get all these slides and some additional resources. And if you sign up for our newsletter, it'll be a lot of this stuff every week.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's 2 more questions.
Oh,
Thank
no.
you. I'm a professional anonymous. I'm a professional services email marketer, and most of these are emails we are looking at are B2C. Do you look into professional services type emails as well?
We do. They're kind of hard to get. So we have a category that you can search. Like B2B is a category on email on Really Good Emails. A lot of people don't send them to us. They're kind of a hard email to get, and it's also something we might not feature as much. A lot of those emails might be plain text only. I think people think that really good emails mean like, oh, is it written really well? Well, that's not really what we're looking at. We're looking at copy and things like that, but we like to feature email designs that maybe have a little bit more designed emails. So a lot of these are promotional. Those are the ones that are going to get all the attention. But there are some other resources out there that are more focused on like cold emailing, things like that. So.
Mm-hmm. And Christine asked, what other add-ons do you like besides Movable Ink?
Movable Ink. So one of our sponsors, Nifty Images. The site is a really good resource. They're
Nifty Images?
NiftyImages.com. Okay. They're a very good. I think they have a little. They're very more accessible, I think, than some of the other parties like Live Clicker, Movable Ink, things like that. More minimums to get for your sends, but Nifty Images is the one that we like to use. And in our emails, we try to do experiments with dynamic content a lot to figure out things that bring in live customer data. Other plugins in that for third-party vendors. There's some like AI stuff that some brands do, which is kind of good sometimes. So, but yeah, mostly the live dynamic images can be very powerful for you if you want to do something, but your ESP usually allows you to bring in dynamic content as well. So if your email is live text, that's something that you should be able to do anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. Hassan is also wondering, is there a huge downside to all image emails anymore? Deliverability isn't still an issue, is it? Saves a lot of production time.
Yes. So I think deliverability, all images, I think big brands get away with it all the time, so it's not a very big issue. But then if someone has images turned off, they can't read your email. Or if they have a screen reader because they are sight impaired, they can't look at your emails. So having them be live text is how the web is nowadays. So we'd really like email to keep catching up to that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about it.
Oh, and Jonathan, I feel you. Do you have more tips on making lengthy content newsletters better looking?
So we have a tag. I think we used to have like long form was a tag on our site. I think it's just under the newsletter stuff now. But I think using some typed stuff, having like bulleted lists, numbers, breaking it up with images, or maybe you can go to your boss and say like, why are we sending this long email? Like, do we have to send it this way? Can we give them a teaser of the email and then put them to a blog or like a landing page where they can read more information there? So that's kind of my advice for that.
Mm-hmm. Would you mind actually going back to your final slide,
this one,
the one before, where you kind of like sum up your findings? The one I think it's before that. Yeah. Okay. So just for me now, doing these email events for a couple of years, like the number one point was the content serve the customer more than the company. I don't know if I have seen that ever.
I mean, yeah, it's like one of our main focuses when we look at emails that are being added to our site. So it's just something that we've said for a long time, and it's just we like to think that emails have jobs to be done, and if you're sending an email that doesn't solve something or doesn't provide value, then you shouldn't be sending it. So.
It's also a great teaser to later in the afternoon where we're going to have a big final circle of the day in here. So all of you work in marketing and branding and storytelling. There's going to be people here from some of the largest media companies talking about how they're shifting their message from just broadcasting like one thing to the mass to discovering niches and really also the biggest shift I've observed in my own industry in journalism where I come from is just, hey, does this actually serve somebody or is this just us broadcasting? And I thank you very much for opening our minds, and I hope you get the chance to not only subscribe but really talk to Matt
and
while he's here.
Submit us emails. I think everyone in this room probably has sent at least one really good email, so we'd like to get them on our site. So, thank you.
How do I do that?
You go to Really Good Emails, and there's a little submit button on the site, and you can fill out a little form and tell us why you think it really is really good. We like see through when people submit their own emails, so don't be ashamed. Cool. Thank you.
All right, so send Matt your emails. Thank you, Matt. Thank you.